Hey, guess what? Guess who's together? It's the real money coach in person. I have sitting next to me Michelle Mitchell, y'all. Come on. Real money coach time. It's Tuesday. Put in the chat where you watching from. I know that you're live. You're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and we're here in Charlotte. Michelle and I and our families are together. We fully vaccinated. We done test negative. We done all that stuff.
We done everything.
We done it all. We done it all. Played a little golf today and all that good stuff. So just put in the chat box where you at. I know we got our faithful ones coming through. I'm looking for them. I'm gonna call their names when they come, Michelle. I'm gonna call their names when they come in there. So listen, this is really our last show of 2021, and we're going to be going into 2022 next week. Just to let you all know, for the month of January, we're going to be kind of focusing on cryptocurrency. In particular, we're talking about, Bitcoins and all the different EFTs, ETFs, and all that type of stuff. And so we're going to be doing that. We're going to have Janice Leak on the first Tuesday, and then we're going to have Pastor Casey Kimbrough, who Michelle's husband Tony, myself, we all golfed this morning with Pastor K, and then the third week we're going to have the third week. Trying to remember who's coming. No, actually, the first week is actually going to be Dr. Inga. Dr. Inga is going to come on, and she's going to be talking about getting capital for your business. So alternative ways to getting capital. Okay. And so pretty excited about that. And then the next week it's going to be Janice Leak, and then Pastor K, and then there's a gentleman named Scott Hutchinson that will come and talk about the taxation of all that crypto money. Right. Listen, we got some people to shout out here, Michelle.
Yes.
We got Kimberly McGuire. Good to see you, Kimberly. Good to see you at church on Sunday. We got Dr. Bonita Harris. Dr. Bonita, how are you? Good to have you with us. And we got the queen, Miss Ruth E. Bell, in the house watching. Thank you, Ruth, for your beautiful email that you sent this week. We appreciate all of you. We appreciate you guys tuning in and being a part of the Real Money Coach. And we're just celebrating, coming to the end of another great year. 2021 show had some challenges, you think?
Definitely, there were some challenges, but there was also a lot of successes. So
yeah, and I think that's probably a great thing about it too, is that when you have challenges, mm-hmm. there's also opportunity.
That's right.
There's opportunity. Mm-hmm. So every challenge has an opportunity. I believe that even though there were some businesses that didn't make it through COVID, yes. there were some more $1 million businesses that were started.
Absolutely.
And Chad, I see you, brother. I see you. Go blue right there.
Look,
Chad,
look at us.
Look. Good. Yeah, we got the blue and gold going on.
My husband would be upset.
We got the blue. I'm gonna top it off too. I'm gonna go all the way with it, right? So we gonna go all the way with it. So we got the amazing blue thing going on right now. You can't rep that. You can't rep that. I know your husband would be mad at you. But me and Chad, we repping.
Right.
And we got a big game on Friday. So looking forward to seeing, what Michigan can do with that team down in Georgia. But they're playing in Miami. I mean, the weather's pretty nice down there. It's interesting. So Friday, you guys, speaking of Friday, let me tell you what's going to happen on Friday. You guys know about the iHeartRadio show. It comes on Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, iHeartRadio, WDRB Media. So if you go to iHeartRadio and then you go to and search for WDB Media, right? Chad's coordinated. What you're going to find, the interview this week, besides, our normal thing, real money news, real money moves that you can make, it's going to be an interview, and it's going to be Michelle, her husband, and myself, and my wife. And so it's going to be a great conversation of some friends that have been around for 30 years. We're going to talk a little bit about what friendship really means, and how, we've kind of grown together. We've done life together, really. We've done life together.
Yeah.
And so that's what the show is going to be about on Friday. So you want to make sure you tune in at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. iHeartRadio, WDRB Media is what you search for. So, Michelle, what do you have? Do you have any big goals, big things planned for 2022? It's too much to even say, right?
It's too much to even say, but we're gonna make it happen over here. My goals for the year are very large, but I also have built a team that's gonna help me get there. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think there's an African proverb that says, if you want to run fast, run by yourself. But if you want to run far, run together.
That's right.
And so, it's just like, and we hear all those English, like, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
And it's really true.
It's really true.
It's really true.
Yeah.
When you can surround yourself by a great team.
Yeah. It really is.
And so I want to give a shout out to the Real Money Coach team. I see some of you are in and listening tonight. So it's pretty awesome. So, and any New Year's resolutions? Do you do New Year's resolutions?
I really don't do New Year's resolutions, but I am always trying to improve as an individual.
Okay.
So, I just want to be a better me in 2022 than I was in 2021.
So always striving to be your better self. Always strive to be yours. It's this concept they call your personal best. You're always going for your personal best. And I think it was something that John Wooden used when UCLA was on that run of winning all these national championships. Their motto every day was to beat your personal best.
Yes.
Whatever your personal best is, beat that.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think that's a great challenge for all of us, is whatever your personal best is, beat that.
Right.
And if we get up every day and we do that, then I think we can really accomplish some great things.
Yeah, because a lot of times when people are, when people are improving themselves, you as the outside, you don't see what's happening in the darkness, or in the quiet time. But what you see on the outside, when the fruit of that starts to show, is people are like, wow. But this thing you've been working on it for a long time, right, in the quiet, in the dark, when people can't see you.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they're like, wow, you're doing great. Yeah. Like, I've been working real hard. That's what
a champion is not made during the game.
No.
A champion is made in the practice, in the gym,
in the gym,
and on the field when nobody else is there, nobody else is looking, nobody else is watching. That's where your character is really developed, and that's where your business really gets its footing. Is not when you're in front of people, but it's the work that goes on behind the scenes that make it so wonderful and so powerful. So, if you got a big goal for 2022, put it in the chat box. Let us know. I guess, tell me how you enjoyed the show last week. Marlon was on with Valerie Rhodes, and she was talking about different tax tips and all that kind of stuff. And between, we were kind of busy last Tuesday. What were we busy doing last Tuesday, Michelle?
My son got married, and my best friend right here, his godfather, actually officiated the wedding. And it was just a celebration. It was a good time.
It was a
really good time.
It was a wonderful time. Yeah. So, and for me, we were talking about this earlier, as a godfather, godparent, what greater role to play than to be able to officiate your godson's wedding. And so I think that's the only thing I can compare it to, is when I'll do my own son's wedding in this August. So all that's going on. So life is rolling. Yes. Life is rolling in. Yes. And so we were there, and then we left the day before Christmas Eve, and then you guys came down, and Charlotte came down here the day after. And so here the four of us together again, all vaccinated, all we taking all kinds
of COVID tests.
Right. We took COVID tests for the wedding. We took COVID tests after the wedding. We took COVID tests when you guys got here.
Yep.
So we just want everybody to be safe.
Yes.
And I guess if we're going to talk about it, then we should practice it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's exactly what we're doing. So,
mm-hmm.
Well, listen, we do have a wonderful guest. Okay, let's see. Chad says, team building with my business, invest more in crypto. Just continue to be humble and stay consistent. I love that, Chad. And I know that you're doing, I've been seeing some of your lives where you're talking, I think, about crypto and some things. And, cryptocurrency is just really a broad term. And we'll break this down because there's all kinds of cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is obviously the one that most people think about because it's been around the longest.
Yes.
But there's a lot of different ones out there. One of the things I will tell you about Christmas and what we did, and I'm going to get more information for you guys on this, is this thing called Stockpile. I don't know if you heard me talk about it on the show. Stockpile is where, how we normally give gift cards. And many of you have been in meetings before, and I say, if you sign up for a meeting, we'll give you a free gift card. It's usually an Amazon card. Well, Stockpile is you can actually give stock.
Oh.
So it's a gift card for stock. They can pick Apple, Tesla, Google, Amazon, any of that. They also can pick, cryptocurrencies and stuff. But it's a gift card, and it comes in denominations of 25. And then you give that gift card away, and they can start their own brokerage account.
Nice.
And what I thought about it is it's just a change of mindset. So instead of a gift card where I'm going to go out and buy something, I'm going to give you a gift card where you can go out and invest.
Right.
And so just changing from that consumer mentality to investor, a saving mentality. And I thought it was the coolest thing that I'd ever seen. And so that's what we actually gave our kids for Christmas was the gift card where they can go in. And we said Apple, but they can change it because I think my son Christopher said he didn't want Apple. He wanted Tesla. So he's going to buy Tesla with his gift card. But it's just a great idea. And you guys ought to check it out. It's called Stockpile. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So, but anyway, the time is going by. We have a super guest on tonight. His name is Sean Caldwell. And let me tell you how I met Sean. I met him through Dr. Frazier, and I'm not sure if our paths crossed at PNC, but I know Dr. Frazier put him in touch with me a couple months ago. He's a young man, got an incredible story, got a great head on his shoulder, and I thought he'd be a wonderful guest for us this evening. Yeah. So without any further ado, let's bring Sean on stage. There we go. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Good to be with you all this evening.
Good to have you, man. So, I'm not sure, how did we end up hooking up? Did George give you my number, or how did I'm not sure how it worked?
Yeah, so I've always been interested in personal finance, and Dr. Frazier did a promo video for your WINS program, and I found out about that through YouTube, and then looked you guys up. And I think I sent an email, and then I sent to the info address. I didn't get a response.
And I sent Real Money Coach. Hey, listen, listen. Sean actually emailed info at the Real Money Coach. So y'all make sure you send your email so you can get hooked up with the Real Money Coach. All right.
Yeah. And after I went through the WINS program, I said, well, there's a couple things that I need to do. And one of those was get a life insurance policy in place. And so that was kind of what set the foundation for you and I developing a relationship. But Dr. Frazier was kind of that beam because, he did that promo. I know him. I know of him. And I have a lot of respect. So when he said, what he said in your promo vid, I said, okay, well, let me see what they're about. And so that was what prompted me to reach out to you.
Okay. So Sean, did you actually go through like one of the 6-week courses or?
I just went through all your YouTube videos.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't go through an actual like personal finance course per se. I just went through all the videos that you had. Yeah.
I mean, this is like a storybook. I mean, I really did not know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Shut up, man. You
Right.
in the promo video now. You said
Yeah.
I listened to the videos.
And
Yeah,
he
I
went
did.
one more step and he emailed info at the Real Money Coach.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
took
He took action.
I'm one of those type. If you got some information that can help me move forward, I'll find you. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So now I'm even more impressed with you as a young man. So Sean, tell us about how old are you, Sean?
I'm 33.
You're 33. So,
Yes, sir.
so that's young to us.
Right.
So 33 years old. Tell us a little bit about where you grew up and kind of, who you are as a person.
Yeah. So I grew up in upstate New York, and I came down to Charlotte for college. I've got a degree in criminology. I worked in that field for a little bit. Realized it wasn't for me, and from there, kind of started a bunch of different businesses. Some were successful, some flopped. And then now today, I own a parking lot, like litter pickup business, and I'm also a real estate investor, and I'm also invested in crypto and some forex. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And yeah, just kind of looking to position myself for the next stage of life, which is going to be marriage, children, and really building a legacy for myself and for my family.
I think one of the things that I appreciate about what you're saying there is he's getting himself together.
Right.
Right. So he gonna be a catch for somebody because he's like, I'm gonna come in this thing. I'm gonna come in this thing already ready.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I love that mentality. Where'd you go to school?
I went to Johnson C. Smith University.
Okay. So what are they? The Raging Bull? What the Bulls?
Oh, come on now. We the Golden Bulls.
The Golden Bulls. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Golden Bulls. Right. Well, and that's an HBCU.
It is. Yeah.
And so you come down from, I think it was Rochester, New York, if I remember correctly, and you came to Charlotte, and you tried your hand at a couple different businesses. Sounds like you found one that's kind of sticking pretty well with the parking lot deal.
Yep. Yeah. It's a good business. It's got just tremendous cash flow. It's a lot of leverage in it, and there's not a ton of competition. So I mean that pays the bills, and then my real estate. I mean that's I take what excess money I get from my business, and I just put that into real estate, and that money works really hard for me. And we got something right now that I think we'll make probably $50,000 on here in the next couple of weeks. As an investment.
That's
so
awesome.
when you get a few of those things going, it's pretty good. And for me, it's not so much about having the money. It's about money as a tool. A tool for power is kind of how I look at it. So like some of the things they're able to do, give back to the community. Like I donated money. I've in the past been able to put kids through summer camp that people don't even know. I just funded it. Nobody knows my name's attached to it. Things like that. Christmas gifts, being like a secret Santa, stuff like that. Feeding the homeless. So, taking care of parents. So for me, it's just a blessing to be in a position to do it. And so I don't take it for granted for 1 second.
Well, I think you mentioned something I think was key. You said money is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think times we don't look at it as a tool.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
probably a pretty deep conversation.
It is.
Mhm.
I heard that
Yeah.
too.
That
Because money is a tool.
Yeah.
There's no emotion in money. We
Yeah.
attach the emotion to money
right,
Yeah.
right,
by
Yeah.
our behaviors
right.
with money.
Yeah.
Good and
But
bad.
good and bad. Good
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
bad. You know, so money is a tool actually to help you reach your goals. And if you start thinking of money in that way, you'll reach your goals a lot faster because you don't have any emotion attached to it.
Right.
You're reaching for the goal.
So the goal is not to have the money, but
Right.
the money helps you reach those
Right.
other goals. And we always say, money can't buy you this, money
Right.
can't buy you that. But Les Brown says, money can't buy you happiness, but everybody wants to try for themselves.
Right.
Everybody wants to find that out for themselves.
Yes.
And so I think that's just a really great attitude. And even Dr. Renita Harris says, that's amazing, Sean. She says that in the chat, that, talking about that tool. Now, the other thing you mentioned giving back. And I know you and I have had some conversations about a nonprofit that you're looking to get off the ground. Also, before we go, we want to find out, how, if we have people who are listening who have a parking lot that needs to be cleaned out, how they can contact your business and all that. But talk to us a little bit about the nonprofit, and then maybe even, you can even expound a little bit more on the real estate piece.
Yeah, sure. So, I have a purpose in life, and my purpose is to improve outcomes for families of African descent. That's what I believe the Creator has put me on this earth to do. And so everything that I'm doing is informed by that, right? So the relationships I have, how I make money, how I use my time, so on and so forth. And so um, what that looks like from a practical standpoint is we're going to be doing an executive functioning program. That's one branch. And executive functioning, for anyone that doesn't know, is these are basically the core skills that we need to organize our behavior toward our future goals. So these are things like planning, shifting, um, prioritizing. These are all the things that we need to function. Problem is, for a lot of our folks, we don't, because we've got all kind of other issues that we can talk about another time. Our kids don't develop those skills in the way that they need to be competitive with the other groups. So we want to deal with that. I've got a whole curriculum. Really, it's at this point, it's about finding a facilitator and just kind of putting the logistics together on that end. The second piece is to reduce sources of stress in the home, and that looks like mental substance abuse, mental illness, poverty, community violence. These are all the things we want to tackle. And for a lot of our kids, they have these issues in home, but they don't have a safe space where they can actually talk about what's going on. So one of the things that we want to do is put together some healing circles that sort of serve as that baseline level of support for our kids, where they can just plug in. There's no commitment to anything other than them just showing up and just processing what they're going through at that moment right now. I've got a number of agencies that I'm going to be partnering with, so that if our kids do need help beyond what we're offering, then they can plug in. The third element is going to be to foster responsive relationships between parents and children, and all that means is that parents understand the various developmental stages of their child's development and provide them with the adequate supports. This looks like a teenager is going through puberty. Does mom and dad know what that means? Does mom and dad know how to support that child? Does mom and dad know how to deal with social media, so on and so forth? So we want to provide parenting classes that will sort of facilitate the supporting of our children in ways that are going to help them to develop in pro-social ways, so that not only our children, not only will we have good relations with our kids, but we're developing healthy people, we're developing
Mm.
children that will be able to solve their own problems. And so these are the three areas that I'm focusing in on, and I'm super excited. And again, we talk about money. I'm self-funding this. I don't have. I mean, I could fundraise and all that, but right now it's all me. I'm putting my own money up, and I'm fortunate enough that because of business, we can do it. Won't be cutting any shortcuts. I won't shortchange our kids. It's going to be the best of the best, and I owe a lot to that because of money situation and business and how I've organized everything. So really excited about 2020. What are we going to 2022? 2022, and that's really where my heart is. I've taken this year, part of this end of this year, to kind of restructure some things so that I can focus close to full time on that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking to really making a difference in developing our future leaders.
That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is really awesome.
Drop the mic.
I know,
all right.
right? Yeah.
What are we gonna say about that? So,
Yeah.
and what's so awesome is, again, I go back to this money tool, right? Because money is a tool, it's going to allow you to do some of the things that you're just mentioning that you want to do. And I think that's pretty awesome, and the vision that you have for it. I think is good. Again, when you and I sat down, I don't know, we sat down a couple weeks ago, maybe had a cup of coffee, and you were kind of sharing some of these things with me. I was like, this guy's got to come on the show. I gotta showcase him for other. I guess you consider a millennial. I mean, I don't get all into the titles and tags, but I guess you would be considered in that group. But and so often. I don't know what our generation's called. What are we called?
I don't know what we call.
We're not baby.
We just call you elders. You're just elders. You're our elders.
Elders. But anyway, it's nice to see a young man thinking about these things. And one of the things I picked up from what you just said is your purpose. And when you find your purpose, everything can begin to align for that purpose.
Right.
And you utilize the tools that you have in your toolbox in order to execute the purpose.
Right.
So finding a purpose is a good thing. And then you utilize the tools of making money in a business to impact the people that are in your pathway of your purpose.
Right. So your purpose, your profit, and all these things start to line up.
It starts to line up.
And when you have purpose and you know what your purpose is, you're very powerful. I think about Jesus. Jesus said, "I came for this purpose." And even when he first turned, water into wine, his mother said, he says to him, "What business is this of mine? This is not my purpose." But when we can get focused on our purpose, and then things start to fall in place. And listen, he has a mindset and skills that are ahead of his time. Ahead of his time, and so I think that's pretty awesome.
This is amazing, and kudos to your parents for guiding you, because it's shown. I mean, the fruit of their labor is showing in him, and he's a young man.
I'm interested. Tell me a little bit about your parents.
So I would say, unfortunately, my folks didn't have it so easy growing up. And I was born in the projects, and I know all about welfare. My mother and father have dealt with major substance abuse. I mean, to the point where I lived with my grandma for a stretch, and
shout out to the grandmas,
right?
Yeah. But while my mom got clean, she really got clean. And what I mean by that is she refocused, recalibrated, and when she got out of rehab and cleaned herself up, she ended up being the valedictorian of her college class. And
Um,
so that's the story, right? We have that story, have that example of how you can come from substance abuse, poverty, all kind of other issues, to being, a stellar student and a leader. She ended up retiring early from the city, and my father did as well. And so, they've always had a heart for service. Both of them have done all kind of work for the AIDS community, AIDS Rochester. They've done stuff in the church, and all kind of counseling. And even now, my father, 71 years old, when I was up there in January, went to go pick somebody up. I'll never forget it. Picked this man up from a motel and took him to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. This is in January in upstate New York. He's 71 years old. They were honored a few weeks ago for their service at our church for, I don't know, however long they've been serving on the diaconate board. So these are the examples that I have of servant leadership. So it's sort of normal for me.
right.
It's kind of expected that you should, that you give back.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah,
when you've been given so much.
right.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And again, here it's like, Sean, you're an awesome young man. God has so much more for you in store. I'm seeing this in there. I'm seeing grandparents set its focus. Grandparents are earth angels and all these type of things. And I don't know. What I felt come down in my spirit was, you said he said that he was born in the projects,
Right.
but he's not of the projects.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you could be born in a situation,
Yes.
but that situation doesn't have to become
a
you.
part of
Doesn't have to become
right.
a part of you. We take all those experiences that we have in life and we grow from them and we develop who we are from them, but we don't have to become our situation.
Yes.
And I think that's pretty awesome that that's the first thing that came to my spirit when you said that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Sean, I want to kind of shift it a little bit. You mentioned and I know a little bit of this story, but you mentioned that you went back home in January, back to Rochester. Kind of tell us a little bit about what led to you going back to Rochester. If you're
I lost the love of my life back in January to heart failure, and so I was basically left here in Charlotte by myself. And so with a loss like that, it's really tough to be by yourself. So I went back home just to be around family, and was up there. I mean, I came back down to Charlotte every now and then, but was up there really just to kind of heal and to learn how to take care of myself and kind of readjust to life as Sean, the single man. Yeah.
So, and I know we talked about the importance of not just, and I know we have some members here from the Park Church. We have members that are listening from Mount Carmel, and we have a Beauty for Ashes, and we recently had a grieving conference. I know they have one. And when we talked, you talked about that grieving process of when your fiance passed, and you had to do some things in terms of dealing with the grieving. Was that counseling involved?
Big time. One of the things that I really learned was that we have to we answer to powers bigger than us, right? And no matter how well prepared you are, nothing can prepare you for that. And so I realized at that point that I was, as smart as I might think I am, as well prepared as I think I might be to deal with things, that I can't, not everything. And so I did seek out counseling. I had a therapist that I, met with on a weekly basis, and she kind of coached me through that process. I also signed up for a grief group, and so we met every week, and it was a faith based grieving group, and we had meetings and kind of processed the different stages of grief, and so I had that, and then also really kind of began to take better care of myself, exercising, eating better, getting more rest, really just kind of focused on my own personal development, because when you're in a relationship, you give so much of yourself to the other person that in some ways you can kind of lose yourself a bit, and that's what I did. And so this time that I was back home was a time just to heal and to take care of Sean. And so I did, and once I felt like I was in a place where I could move forward, I made my way back down here to Charlotte.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you did make your way back here to Charlotte, and I know in the process of what we're doing, and Charlotte, I want to just thank you for your transparency. I mean, we talked a little bit about that. We talk about this because I wanted it. I didn't ask him this question out of the blue, y'all. I mean, I just kind of wanted to know that it was okay because I thought it was so important.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't allow ourselves to grieve. We don't allow ourselves to seek out help when we
Right.
need help.
Yes.
And we all need help,
We
right?
do.
We all get tangled up in all those type of things. And so I just thought that was a mature
was.
step as well.
Yeah, because he can't do any of his purpose if he is hurting and grieving. He can't. You just can't function. So you got to take care of you before you can help anybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole airplane thing, right?
Yeah.
When the
Put your
masks come
mask
down,
on.
put your
yours
own
on
mask on 1st, and then you can help others. But
right.
if we don't get ourselves fixed, healed, right? Then we can't really help others. You can't give what you don't have.
Right.
And so I just thought that was a remarkable story. And then again, being a young person, at least in my eyes, 33 years old, to lose your fiance suddenly, and I don't know how old she is, or nor does it matter, but just to go through that process, and then I think this story makes a lot of mamas proud, right?
Yeah.
So when Sean needed something, he could go home.
Yes.
Every mama wants mama wants their child. If you need, if you're hurting, come to mama, right? Come home.
Yeah, come home.
And so if you are living and you're blessed and you have a mama, Pastor Casey talks about this all the time. It's like, if you have a mother that is in the land of the living, you better cherish her.
Yes.
And there's something special about mothers. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, there's something special about mothers. Us dads ain't bad either, though.
No,
we ain't bad either.
But
it's just that relationship. And so I think that was pretty awesome that he decided to do that, because it ain't nobody like mama.
No, nobody like mama. But also, he had a business, so it allowed him to be able to take the time.
Oh, you mean he didn't have family medical leave act for 6 weeks and then got 4 weeks to go back? So that's
an entrepreneur. That's a benefit.
That's part of the benefit of being an entrepreneur, right? Is that you could go now. So your parking lot business. So let's explore that a little bit, right? So your parking lot business was already running, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you had a business that was operating here in Charlotte, and you packed your grip, your bag, your suitcase, and you went back to New York, but your business was still running here in Charlotte.
It was 100%. I haven't seen these properties that we service in person in years. And I mean, checks are coming in the mail, and I'm getting reports that everything is being taken care of, and it's a blessing. That it worked out that way.
And you must have good people on your team,
Absolutely.
right?
I do. I'm so
And
fortunate to have a good team. Like I said, when you're the owner or the CEO, you get a lot of the credit, but it's really the team that's really doing the work.
right.
I'm just the face of it. But I do have an incredible team, and I'm just so grateful to have them because they keep the business going.
That's awesome.
Love it.
And so your most of your real estate
Yeah,
dealings, are they here in Charlotte, or tell us a little bit about
yeah,
where your footprint is in terms of real estate?
yeah, yeah. I've got mostly Mecklenburg. Got some property in Cabarrus and Gaston, but I try to stay around, the greater Charlotte metro area and really the surrounding areas. Anywhere that I can get within 45 minutes, but I'll do stuff all throughout the state if it makes sense.
If it
Right.
makes
If
money.
it makes right.
Yeah, right.
Money, it makes sense,
If it
right?
make money, it
Yeah,
makes sense.
Right.
If it don't make money,
pretty
it
much,
don't make sense. Right.
Exactly.
pretty
So
much.
So do you have residential or commercial or what
Yeah,
kind
residential. So my business, I'm an owner financier, and really all that means is that I own I have property that I sell to either investors or to owner occupants, and I will finance that sale or the purchase of that property to that person. And so what that looks like is, say I got a property that's worth 100,000, and John Doe wants to move into that property. Well, you know, he'll give me a down payment, and then I'll carry the remaining balance of the mortgage over whatever term. And so I'm getting a payment just like you would to say pay Bank of America or Wells Fargo. Only difference is I'm obviously not Wells Fargo or Bank of America, but I get basically private mortgages is what I hold. So I own the debt that's associated with the property, not the actual real estate.
okay.
Okay.
So you're basically carrying the paper
Yeah.
on
Correct.
that
Yeah,
property.
I'm right. Yep. I'm financing it to them, and I'm just carrying the paper on it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you want them to pay that property off, or you want them to
No. I want because we gotta. No. We got to get the interest. We got to get the interest going, and
uh,
yeah. So
yeah,
it's nice.
recurring payments.
recurring payments? That's
Yeah.
mailbox money.
Mailbox
Yeah.
money. That's
That's
right.
right. That's right.
So that's pretty awesome. So, man, well, you got a lot of great things going on, a lot of wisdom, that type of thing. So, as we wind down to the end of the show today, um, what I just kind of wanted to know, maybe, if you were to give advice to your, I was going to say your younger self, but I mean,
Right.
what,
Your cousin.
your cousin, let's say you
Yeah.
got a little cousin coming up,
Yeah.
and what would be 3 or 4 things that you would
Yeah.
advise your younger cousin to do
Yeah.
coming up?
Be quiet and listen. Be quiet, listen, and watch. Uh,
Mm,
follow.
You almost made me cuss.
right.
You almost made me cuss. I was like,
Right. But that's
Yeah,
what I heard about
yeah,
Sean.
yeah. I
I
think,
heard when he was speaking
mhm.
that he listened
yeah,
to wisdom
He
because
said,
you don't get here at
yeah,
33 without listening.
he said, be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
yeah.
Be quiet,
Listen and
listen,
listen and watch.
and
And
watch.
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 Be
Mm-hmm.
quiet,
Everything,
listen, and watch.
everything, everything that we want's already there. We just have
Mm-hmm.
to attract it, but we can't attract it if we don't know. We don't
Mm-hmm.
see it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see it, and so we got to be aware of it. And that's always been my approach. I always look at who has what I want. Who lives the life that I want, and find a way to connect with them. Yeah.
Well, and you can collapse time
Yes.
by
Yeah.
doing the three things he just said.
Yep. You can.
By being quiet,
Mhm.
by listening
Mhm.
and watching.
Mhm.
You can
Yeah.
collapse time because you don't have to make the same mistakes other people have made.
Yeah.
You can learn from their mistakes. You can learn
Mhm.
from their victories if you just shut up,
Mhm.
Shut up. Just be
listen,
Yeah.
and
Let me
watch.
tell you. So, I reached out to Dr. Frazier not too long ago, and I said, "Look, this is where I'm at. I'm this age. This is where I'm at business wise. What's the next step? What do you advise as the next step?" And he told me, and I did what he said.
What did he tell you?
I said, "What do you suggest I do?" He said, "Crypto." Okay, what should I do? He told me what to do. I plugged in. I didn't ask a whole bunch of questions. I didn't, make it more complicated than he do. If he's a model of success worthy of emulating, follow his blueprint. Follow success. It's not that complicated. A lot of times, and especially, I think entrepreneurs and younger entrepreneurs, we get in our own head. We get in our own way because it's like an ego thing. Like, I got to do it my way. I have to be right. And it's like, no, you don't. You have to just get it right. So find who's got the answer. That's what counts, not you having it. Who has it? Find who has it. And yeah, today, that one investment in crypto. I mean, it's paying off. That one email paid off very well. So, Dr. Frazier, if you're listening, thank you.
Have you ever met him in person, Sean?
No, not yet.
He
Not
was
yet.
actually supposed to be here yesterday in town,
Okay.
but because of COVID and all that, he decided not to travel from Ohio to Charlotte. But next time he's in town,
Okay.
I'm I'm gonna take you to meet him. I'm gonna make sure that
And
happens.
awesome. And if I could add one more thing to that, what I found to be true is that people who are successful want to share.
Yeah,
That's the secret sauce. Because a lot of times when you see people who've made it, the assumption is, oh, well, they made it. They want to hold all the knowledge. When I told him, I said, I want to, tell me what to do. He was so gracious with his time. He called me when he was on his way getting ready to fly out of Dallas. He called me on his way getting ready to leave on a flight. He called me the next day when he got home.
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have to do any of that. He wants to do it because it's important to him. So
Get back.
yeah, yeah. So there's yeah.
And Dr. Frazier, others like him, I could name a few of them. I'm thinking about Michael Roberts.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about William Picard. I'm thinking about some of these folks, Mr. Dudley.
Yep.
Some of these
Yep.
folks that are really successful. They're at that point in their life.
Yes.
Jackie Mayfield. These folks are millionaires, some of them multimillionaires, and their number one goal they want to do is give back.
Yep.
They want to give back because they've gotten theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And when you run into people who like don't want to share, don't want to give, you can't receive if your hands are closed.
Exactly, you cannot.
But and Dr. Frazier, one thing that stands out, he says, "Be the first to give." Be the first to give.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Michelle, anything else you wrote ask Sean or anything?
Sean, you are amazing young man to emulate. You really are, because
Thank you.
You're so young. I think of him as so young.
Right.
But he's
barely older than our kids. Right.
Yeah.
Barely. Older, but barely.
Right. Yeah. And you just have you have purpose, and you know what it is. And I think one of the things that you could teach younger people is how to find their purpose as soon as possible. Because once you find your purpose, then you can direct your life in that direction. So I would say that's one of the things you can help young people with. It's just
Okay.
helping them to find their purpose as soon as possible.
And you know that's part of what's probably developing with the nonprofit and all the things that you're talking about doing there. You're doing that.
Yeah,
You're
he's
doing
doing
that.
that.
And I think that's pretty amazing. So, Sean, any last words you want to share with the Real Money Coach audience? You know, any advice you want to give them? Any last words?
I just yeah, it's a pleasure and an honor to be on the call, and if I could leave the viewers with anything is just to stay plugged in. Whatever your journey is, it's your journey. But just stay plugged in, build a network, build a team, and just stay believing in what you want to accomplish, and you'll get there.
Well, man, I tell you what, I appreciate you taking the time out to be on the show. I know you said y'all playing some cards. You got a little card game going, right? You stepped out to spend this hour with us and to bless our audience. And even when this replays on iHeartRadio, I just pray that a lot of people will get it and get this message, and it will change their life, because the acronym Real Money Coach, real is for relevant, educational, actionable, and life-changing. And that's the type of information we want to bring. That's what we want to do in our financial education platform and all these things that we have going. And hopefully create more Seans.
That's right.
Create more Seans.
Absolutely.
And so kudos to you.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you and I will be, talking a lot.
Oh yeah.
Talk about bringing financial education as part of that platform as well. So thank you again, man, and thank you everyone who's watching and listening to the Real Money Coach. I want to remind you again, the iHeartRadio show takes place at 5 p.m. on Friday. WDRB Media, and also I wanted to kind of let you guys know that we are planning the book launch, I've Had Your Money book launch on 2/22/22, February 22nd, 2022. Now, with everything that's going on, we're going to make that a virtual launch, but we want all of you participating. We want all of you coming out. We have a strategy. We're going to make this book an Amazon bestseller in its first week. Okay, we want to be number one on the list. That's what we're talking about. So, but Chris did put in there, and we forgot about doing this. Thank you, Chris. Sean, what is your contact information? We need to know your contact information.
Yeah. If people are checking this out on Facebook, you can just look me up. It's my name, Sean Caldwell, and shoot me a message, and then we can kind of go from there.
All right. Okay. So contact through Facebook. If you really want to get in contact with Sean, you gotta do what he did.
Right.
You gotta email info at the Real Money Coach. Hey, if you info at the Real Money Coach, I can get you in touch with Sean. And any other guests that we have. And again, we want to just thank you guys for tuning in, watching this last show of the year. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. So go to YouTube, The Real Money Coach, subscribe. You'll get notice when we come on. Make sure that you also join the Real Money Coach community on Facebook. We have big time content coming to that private Facebook group this year. So with that, for the last time in 2021, it's the Real Money Coach. Y'all have a great night.
Good night.